Hello, Eagle fans. Jonathan Duran coming to you from the NCCU Sports Network for the penultimate time this season. The Eagles on the road to face the Bison of Howard University. Just 2 games left in the regular season. Eagles still playing for a chance of a share of the conference title after the dramatic double overtime win over Norfolk State on a homecoming. It was a fantastic game. I hope that you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Hope you had a really good homecoming. And yeah, North Carolina Central next up. It's the Bison, and they have everything to play for. If they can win out, by chance, Norfolk State beats South Carolina State. It's a 3-way tie for the title. Trophies for everybody. You know the drill. The Eagles have done this 3 times in recent history, 2014, 15, and 16, with the ties. But then the Eagles able to take it all to themselves in 2016. Heading down to the Celebration Bowl, and that was a fantastic time. Well, as the Eagles continue to get ready for these games, as always, we sit down to speak with the head coach and our offensive and defensive coordinators. So let's go ahead and get things started. Here's head coach Trei Oliver talking about the big double overtime win for North Carolina Central and what's left for this Eagle team to accomplish. Coach, it was a happy homecoming, man. I hope you really enjoyed the rest of the weekend after, finally letting the air out after holding your breath during overtime.
Oh yeah, man. That was an outstanding game. I think it was probably gonna be an instant classic. But I was just so happy for our young men that we pulled that game out. And I thought our coaches did an outstanding job, especially with in-game adjustments. And the just for us to be able to play well enough to win the game, and for the alumni and the fans and students to have a happy homecoming. That meant the world to me. Those folks out there at the track in the tailgate alley or whatever, man, they had a party. They were partying over there, man. It was just really good to see, the excitement and everybody was having a really good time.
And Coach, going up against, former teammates, somebody you knew, and Coach Dawson Odoms. I know you were saying that, wasn't really much into it during the game, but, you get a 1 over on a former teammate, a little bit of a friendly rivalry there with Coach Odoms?
Well, I don't know if it's a rivalry. Obviously we want to win the game because, this is a game on our schedule. We wanted to win the game because it was homecoming. And, just because of the competitive nature in it, whenever I could, involved in a contest, I want to win, whether we play in spades, dirty hearts or chess, checkers, it doesn't matter. So, it feels good to be able to get a win over my former teammate.
Coach, this was the first overtime game for North Carolina Central in 3 years. First overtime win since 2015. That also happened at home, I believe, also in double overtime. But how about this, Coach? The Eagles get to participate for the first time in the new NCAA overtime rules. What was it like?
Well, we work situational football. Just about every day in practice, we work some type of situation. And we saw just about all of them Saturday, us being backed up in minus territory and having to move the ball and convert, whether it be a 4th down stop on defense or us having to convert 4th and 2 on offense. But then, we go down to the overtime session. And, we had just worked that on Thursday at practice. So the guys were prepared. The coaches had the young men prepared, and they knew what play was going to be called, and they executed it. And it was a little different though, having to go for it in that second overtime, going for 2. But that's part of the rules, and I thought our staff did a really good job of having our guys prepared.
Coach, the Eagles come back from 21-0 down. It's the second time this year the Eagles have come back from being down to get the win, especially in conference play against Morgan State. What is it with this team's resolve to be able to, no matter what, be able to find a way back in the game?
These guys are resilient, man, and they're gonna fight. And I don't care what we tell them. Don't watch the scoreboard. Don't look at the scoreboard. So whether we're up or whether we're down, we're gonna play for 60 minutes, or if it does go over in overtime, as long as it takes. And I'm just so proud of them. Those guys to continue to fight. When you're down 21-0 at homecoming, a lot of guys can give up, and that's the easy way out. But those guys bowed their necks and continue to fight and press on. So, I was just extremely proud of those guys.
After the game was over, saw the team carrying Jawan Hudson when they went over to see the band for the alma mater. And he was a big hero in the game, stopping a game-scoring touchdown. But Isaiah Totten, he made an appearance this week, didn't have many carries last week, but he got the score for the Eagles in the second overtime. Talk a little bit about Isaiah Totten, if you could, and about, how it's been for him this year. I know it's been a bit tough.
Well, I mean, that just shows you the character of a young man like Isaiah Totten. For you to have all this success over the last 4 years and all conference player, and then this season he has not had as many yards as he has in the past. He's never complained about touches. He's never complained about anything. He just comes to work every day, and when his number is called, he performs and performs well. And we leaned on him in overtime, and he put it in the box. And I'm just happy to see that for him. But good things happen to good people. Good things happen to good people, and that's what the program's about. And those are the type of men we want in our program. And Juan Hudson, you brought him up. We talk about being great and grit, relentless, having great effort and positive attitude and being tenacious. And you saw just about all that in that young man in 2 plays. He chased the guy down after about a 50-yard gain, and we say if we just get him on the ground, let's just live to see one more play. And the defense stopped him, and they tried to kick a field goal, and Hudson came off the edge and blocked the field goal. So when you play with great effort like that, good things happen. And we talk about it all the time. It doesn't take any talent to give great effort.
Jonathan Duren with Eagles head coach Trei Oliver. Coach, coming up on the tail end of conference play, Eagles head north to Howard next. None of these teams are easy to go up against in this conference, but what have you seen from the Bison?
Yeah, you're right. This is a brutal conference. And every week, it's like there's so much parity. It's like you're playing the same teams every week. And, you just can't make mistakes and beat yourself. So statistically, you look at them on paper, and it's a splitting image of ourselves. A lot of stats are, about even. They're a well-coached football team. And, a lot of people say that just, and coaches talk about other teams. But I think Coach Scott, it just shows you, how good he is when Nick Saban calls you, offering you jobs at Alabama. So luckily, he decided to stay. And I think it's great for the conference that we have those type coaches in the conference. But I think they're a very good coach football team. Offensively, they give you a whole lot of different formations that you have to defend. And you have to be prepared, and you have to be play with great eye discipline. And then defensively, they're not one of the bigger teams in the conference, but they do have great team speed, and they do a good job of getting off the field on third down. So it's going to be another dogfight, and it's like that every week. But we just have to work to prepare and have a great week of practice so we can go up to DC and get this win.
All right, Coach, we're in the home stretch, just 2 games left. Not really a true look ahead question, but Coach, what are the things that North Carolina Central needs to get things down, get concrete to be in the running for a championship?
Well, I think first of all, it's our offensive line, and we have so many injuries up front. I think we had 2 more guys that went down this past weekend, and it's been like musical chairs up there with our offensive line. So we have a lot of young guys in there. We're gonna have some probably gonna start a true freshman walk on this week up there. So we have to be able to run the football and sustain some drives. And I didn't think we did a good job of that at all, obviously in the first quarter this past week. But our playmakers are going to show up and play well. Our good players are going to have to play really, really good football this week and, help carry, those young guys. But we're beat up front. So we have to figure out a way to piece this thing together these next 2 games.
All right, Coach, what are the keys for the Eagles to be successful in our nation's capital against Howard?
We must improve our run defense. And we say it, I talk every week about it. And, again, it starts up front. So we have to do a good job stopping the run. And, they have 3 really good receivers. So we're going to have to do a good job of keeping those guys in front of us. We have to take care of the football and win the kicking game. So I think those are the 3 things: stop the run, take care of the football, and win the kicking game.
All right, Coach, make sure you get some of that chili from Ben's Chili Bowl while you're up there. Thanks for joining us.
Will do.
That's Eagles head coach Trei Oliver. giving you the lowdown on what happened in that last game against Norfolk State and what the Eagles need to do down the stretch against Howard and against Delaware State as we head into the final game of the season. All right, let's go ahead and flip it to our keys to the game. Let's go on the offensive side first with offensive coordinator Matt Leone. You heard me in my conversation with Coach Oliver as we talked about Isaiah Totten. You know, he didn't have that many carries in the game against South Carolina State, but he broke out for what ended up being the ultimate score for North Carolina Central. The touchdown in the second overtime that set up the 2-point play. Davius Richard to Deshaun Stevens. Here's offensive coordinator Matt Leone as he talks about what the Eagles do in those overtime situations and how well they were prepared for it. Coach, once again, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Jonathan.
All right, Coach. Well, North Carolina Central got a thrilling overtime win on homecoming against Norfolk State. Coach, really, I guess one of the main things is that this was the first time the Eagles had participated in the new overtime rule. So from the offensive side of that, you know, having to go for two in the second overtime, which of course was the winning play. What was it like for you?
You know, it was, my first experience as well as far as with the new overtime rules. And, we were prepared for it. It's stuff we practice all the time. And every Wednesday practice, we work our 2-point plays, and we usually we go in a game with 2 to 3 of them. You never know when you're going to need them. And so the guys did a good job executing. We didn't run it exactly the way it's designed, but it worked out in the long run. So we were excited to get the win off that 2-point play.
And for the Eagles to get even to the overtime, it was just like the Morgan State game. You go down in that game, you come back from 21-0 down, 24 unanswered points to take the lead. And what was it really like just watching that team really put it all together?
You know, we talk about this every week, but we got a resilient group of guys. They never give in, they never quit. We call it scoreboard watching. We don't care what the score looks like. We're going to play hard for every minute of the game and every snap. And our guys truly do that. And nobody put their heads down when we were down 21-0. They just kept playing football and was able to fight our way back into the game. And both sides of the ball, offense, defense, and special teams, all played a major role in being able to get that done.
And Coach, the second overtime, Isaiah Totten, he's able to get the carry to go in for the score. We didn't really see him get a lot of carries last week. So, Coach, for everybody from the outside who sees Isaiah Totten, as this guy who's been climbing the record books here at North Carolina Central, but, as Coach Oliver said, he's a hard worker. He's quiet. He comes in, gets the job done. But what was it like seeing him be able to get in for the score, and what was the team reaction?
We're very happy. He's the ultimate teammate. Always puts the team first. Like you said, he is climbing up the record books for North Carolina Central. And, he's just steady every week. He prepares the right way. He's been banged up here the last couple of weeks. He's just getting back to full strength. And so it was nice to see Totten finish that run and get in the end zone.
Jonathan Duran alongside Eagles offensive coordinator Matt Leone. Coach, the Eagles have everything to play for. 2 games left, and you win those 2, you have a chance to get a share of the league title. The Eagles still putting everything together. What's left for this team? We still chasing that perfect game. We're still chasing the overall consistency that we want to see. We talk to our guys every week that we're getting closer. We have not reached that, consistency that we want to see just yet, but we're getting closer to it. And, I think the guys, if they keep doing what they're doing, we got a lot of young talent that's seen a lot of playing time, and all the reps that they get are extremely valuable, and they just got to keep building each week and keep striving to get better. And we're going to continue to improve every single week. Next up for the Eagles, it's Howard. They pushed South Carolina State to the limit. What have you seen for the Bison?
They're a well-coached football team. They play extremely hard on defense. They're not as big as some of the guys we've seen like on the defensive line and that linebacker, but they play with a lot of speed. They're twitchy. They do a good job of hitting gaps. In the secondary, they got some good length. Their leading tacklers, their boundary safety, who does a good job in run support. So we've got a challenge in front of us, but we guys been working hard this week, and coaching staff's been working hard to put a plan together.
All right, Coach. Final road game of the year. What are the keys for North Carolina Central to be successful?
We gotta start better. The last week, the first quarter, we kind of came out in a lull, and that's why we had to fight our way back into the game. So we got to start fast, build some momentum early, especially when you're on the road. I think that's a key part to success playing on the road is building your own momentum and building it early. We got to do a better job protecting the football. We had 2 turnovers this last week, and I want to see that improved. And then it's going to be a physical game, so we got to be more physical than our opponent, and we got to win at the line of scrimmage. If we do those things, I like our chances.
All right, Coach. Thank you so much for your time. Good luck.
All right, thank you, Jonathan.
That's offensive coordinator Matt Leone. Now let's go to the defensive side, to defensive coordinator Juan Navarro. North Carolina Central went 21-0 down against Norfolk State, scored 24 unanswered, and that defensive team really clamped down. And after the game was over, I don't know if you saw the photos or saw the celebration on the field, it was Juwan Hudson getting lifted up on the shoulders of his teammates in front of the band before the alma mater as they were cheering him on after that huge tackle that he made, sprinting downfield to save a score, and then ended up being one of the difference makers in the game. So here's defensive coordinator Juan Navarro as he talks about Juwan Hudson and the rest of this Eagle defense. Coach, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right, Coach. Well, North Carolina Central gets the big win over Norfolk State in overtime on homecoming. Coach, this is a question I've led off with the other coaches for this week. First time the Eagles have been involved in the new overtime rule. So what was it like for you?
You know what? There was just some awareness for it. We were prepared. Obviously, defensively, you want to get them. You want to get a stop at every opportunity. But when as we went through the process of it and we're thinking through it, we spoke briefly with Coach Oliver at the very beginning with Coach Leone, reviewed it, just gave each other a reminder, and then as we fired through, we just went and played with the actual game plan that we had upfield versus just being in that limited area. We just went with the game plan overall, and at that point, what we did is we did think about what plays they had success with out of what personnel groups, and then we went with that plan.
The Eagles really executed the plan well, getting through overtime. And Coach, really also the Eagles go down 21-0, but score 24 unanswered points. So the defense, what changed for them being able to hold Norfolk State scoreless for that long?
You know what? I think getting settled happened a little bit. Like I've explained to you, I think we have a lot of younger guys and guys that are just new to football. So I think that it's for whatever reason, the last couple of weeks, it's taken us a little bit to kind of get honed in to what we're seeing. And you know what? Regardless of what they say, football is a developmental sport. It takes time to learn, to get used to, and it's a big game. And, you have the natural elements of being human that kind of creep up on you. And I think that's what we have go on in some of these games. So, again, our goal, though, Jonathan, our goal on defense is to always start fast, is to always start like we played in the second 45 minutes or whatever that may have been of that game. That's our goal.
You talk about starting fast. You can translate that also to going fast. Juwan Hudson, what a sprint to catch the runner going to the end zone, and that turned into him getting carried off the field after overtime was over. So, Coach, what kind of an impact does he have on this team?
He's tremendous. I think his approach to everyday functioning is what's really impressive about him. He's a competitor. 2, he's a worker. And then 3, he loves the game of football. And that's what he brings to our defense. So, again, when I look at him, it makes me smile because I enjoy coaching him. I enjoy coaching an individual like that and having him as part of our defense. Again, his work ethic, his thoughtfulness and awareness is what you saw come up on Saturday. So that's where I think he's really good that way.
And then Noah Rainbow Douglas, he earns MEAC Weekly Honor. This linebacker core has been immense for North Carolina Central this year. Can you give us some insight on what makes them so good?
You know what? They care. They care about football, and they care about they have pride about themselves, about the unit, and about the defense. And I think when you have pride for something, you're going to work as hard as you can for it. You know, Noah is obviously a senior. He wants to leave a legacy. He wants to leave an impact. We have a lot of young linebackers in that room. So I think for him, it's not only I want to do great my senior year, but for him, he wants to leave a legacy in that room. You have Cole Williams, who again has never played linebacker up until this year. He was a safety in the spring. He was a safety and a running back actually before he got here, I believe, before he transferred here. But when you think about it, all those guys, again, they come in here, and there's one thing that they have relative to our group, Jonathan, is we have three qualities that we want to base ourselves off. Number one, you must have pride. Number two, you must be able to communicate. And number three, okay, you have to be relentless about your effort. So those are the three principles that we hang our hat on in the linebacker room. And I think those guys have done a great job, Noah and Cole, of exemplifying that.
Jonathan Duran alongside Eagles defensive coordinator Juan Navarro. Coach, the Eagles going down the home stretch. Next up, it's Howard. But before we talk about the Bison in these final two games, what's left for this Eagle defense to do?
I think it's just continue to build on consistency. We need consistency. We have a lot of, unfortunately, I think what you've seen explosive plays. And we've gotten numerous amounts of spouts, like at South Carolina State, where we allowed some plays to happen, and then all of a sudden it went quiet. And then it's just like at Norfolk, all of a sudden it goes quiet. And our job is now to find that consistency in the execution of our defense, whether it be the base execution. That's what we want, Jonathan. We need to find consistency in our overall effort, our schematic approach, and our execution.
All right, Coach, the Bison, they pushed South Carolina State to the limit last week, 15-12 final score there. What have you seen from them while you get ready for this game?
Oh, I think they're a very athletic and diverse group. I think their running backs are very good. They're dynamic. I think their overall scheme stresses you out overall at all areas of the field. I think they have some athletes on the perimeter that can really stretch you vertically. And then obviously some of those running backs can hit you right down the midline. So from what I've seen, like I said, their scheme is multiplied, or I say is magnified by their personnel. They match exactly. They're fast. I think they're long. They're athletic. So again, we're going to have our hands full again this week, and we look forward to it.
All right, Coach, what are the keys for North Carolina Central to stay on the path for a share of the MEAC title?
Number one is to stop the run. And how are we going to stop the run is we need to execute base schematic principles. Number two, we need to cup the football. When the football does break out, when the football does go out beyond the perimeter, we need to make sure we have more than one hat to the football. Number three, we need to own the pass concepts. And what I mean by that has already started during the course of the week. We need to know what pass concepts they're running. We need to recognize the splits, the formations of where they're coming out of, and then we need to go own them. And what I mean by that is just we need to go have and play them like they have a history and life of themselves. That's what we have to go play every route concept as, because it really does. They do a very good job of distributing the football, in my opinion, in different route concepts. And we need to go identify those. And that's goal number three.
All right, Coach, thank you so much for your time. Good luck.
Thank you. I appreciate your time. Thanks.
So there are your keys to the game. You just heard from defensive coordinator Juan Navarro. Before that, offensive coordinator Matt Leone. And of course, at the top of the program, our head coach, Trei Oliver. North Carolina Central heading up to face Howard University on Saturday, November the 13th. All of the games kicking off at the 1300 hour Eastern Standard Time. Hope you remember to set your clocks back. It's been a week now, so I hope that you remember to do so. So the Eagles kicking off 1 o'clock at Howard. At the same time, same Eagle channel on ESPN+. North Carolina A&T at South Carolina State. The age-old rivalry will live on between the Bulldogs and the Aggies. That game will be played in Oliver C. Dawson Stadium, also at 1 o'clock. in a game that has MEAC implications. Norfolk State at Delaware State up in Dover. The Eagles' next opponent and final opponent of the year. And a non-conference game as well for Morgan State. They take on the Great Danes of Albany. They're going up north, upstate New York. 1 o'clock kickoff up there. All right, for North Carolina Central, they'll be bundling up this weekend as they head up to Howard. Game time temperature at Green Stadium in our nation's capital. If you're going to be there, 1 o'clock tomorrow, it's looking to be mid-50s, high winds, and honestly, really when the Eagles go up to play Howard, when isn't it windy? When isn't it cold? It always seems to be like that at Green Stadium. So the Eagles are going to be up there to fight the elements. If you're going to be there, I advise you to bundle up. But hey, if you're going to be here in the Triangle, looking tomorrow, mid-60s. It's a perfect day to kick up the grill and enjoy the day. Turn on some Rare Essence, some Chucks, some Parliament, and just go ahead and enjoy the afternoon as the Eagles take on the Bison in our nation's capital. All right, that just about wraps up our show. Hope you enjoy the weekend. I'm Jonathan Duran. We'll see you back at the nest next week for Senior Day. The Eagles take on Delaware State. We'll see you then. Have a great weekend, Eagle fans. Let's go, Eagles.